our viewers from that short break. This is the other perspective. And before we broke off, the panel we had was taking us through the different biases that women face in politics in Uganda. And Queen, I hope you can hear me. I hope you're still on. Queen,
Yes, I can hear you.
yes, earlier in your submission, you hinted on how your opponent paid the electoral commission, and this is not unique to candidates in Uganda. When you came, you explained to us how you had numbers, and in fact, you performed very well because you garnered about 14,800 votes. But what do you think your opponent did, the person that won the race? What did they do better that you didn't do that made them win?
No, they really didn't do anything better. It's like when I went on the ground, I had my project that I wanted to introduce to the people. And these projects are very close to my heart. So I went there to know where should I actually put these projects. And I wasn't just going to like put my factory somewhere to a community I didn't really know would embrace my ideas. So I sold my ideas. When I sold my ideas, people bought them. And I told them the sub county that votes for me the most would take a factory. I'll have a factory in a sub county that votes for me the most. When it came to the eve of elections, because that is where elections are won, like I had all the votes, I knew it. And I was supposed to pay electoral commission, and I said no. I am not paying anybody to do their job. I didn't care whether I won or not. I wanted people to go and vote the way they should. So I cannot tell you the other candidate did better because she bought every vote. I have recordings of her paying electoral commission, this team that are always on the ground, 50,000 and then 250,000 when she wins. Of course, when they divert the votes. I have on that night, instead of sending people to buy votes, I sent my security team out to arrest anybody buying the votes. We arrested so many people, placed them in so many police cells. Even on Monday, when I left the country, some of those people were still locked up in those cells, arrested with money in their hands from the opponent. But at the end of the day, that is not even the votes that she's proud of because she bought them. And why go for politics for a do or die? Politics, why leaders are failing in Uganda is because they put everything they have into politics. Every investment, they're going there to get a job. A good leader does not go into politics to get a job for a livelihood. They go to serve the people. And the way they go there is very important. So, like, when I tell you she didn't do anything better, I did better because I got organic votes that I am so proud of. Even up to now, just go and mention my name in that community. I am the one who is actually the member of parliament to the people, and she is the member of parliament in the house. I love her. She's my sister, but you know what? It's okay. Now my community has two members of parliament: the one that is at the parliament and the one that is the member of parliament for the people. I couldn't be more proud than that.
Yes. Did you consider appealing the fact that you had evidence? You took matters in your hand and arrested people you found with cash. Did you consider appealing? Because our laws, it's against using money to bribe. It's against the laws. So why didn't you do something?
Well, so I still have the evidence up to now. And then, of course, now if I appealed, what would be the use of appealing? Like, I consider waste of time and resources. I put everything together. I submitted to the Electoral Commission, and they didn't. Oh, they said, yeah, follow the process, go to court. I wasn't looking to have a nullification so that I can go back to the same process. Like that was the most boring process that I had to go through. You go out there, you put your plans, you put your campaigns, you put your heart to it, you let people vote. Boring process that I had to go through. You go out there, you put All right.
What's
So you tell people to vote because their lives depended on it. And then the elections are just, the results are changed and mimicked because the Electoral Commission has the power to do it. It was boring. So I didn't really think like I needed to appeal anything.
Also, another thing I would want to know from you, we've had candidates over time, over and again, tell us that they pay electoral commission. And I'm curious, also of you out there could be wondering, who approaches the other? Is it the electoral commission that approaches the candidate and asks for a bribe? In this case, you said you were asked to pay electoral commission. Who asks for the bribe?
All right. So like for me, the moment I arrived, people told me you have to have a spare amount of money for the evening of the elections because that is how people win. And I asked them, so how does that happen that you give bags of money to a team of people to go and distribute at night? So the moment I was told that, in every campaign, like if you're to watch my videos, I recorded every bit of it. I told people 206 times that your vote cannot be bought. And I told them I wasn't going to buy salt. I wasn't going to give them a penny. They had to vote for me. If they were not going to vote for me because I did not buy them, let them stay with their votes. And people love to hear the fact that you have the message. It's not like pay me the money. I don't have any message. I am so dumb, So you know what? I'm going to just give you 1,000 shillings. So then you vote for me. No, I wasn't going to do that. My entire life. I do my part and you do your part. And that is why corruption is very difficult to eradicate in Uganda because the people participate. The people told me this. Electoral Commission, some of them told me what I needed to do to win. And that included paying millions to these top Electoral Commission people and making sure that everybody that is watching a polling station that is working for Electoral Commission is paid. What is your role? If I have to pay you to change the votes, how about you just make sure that you let the votes that I got from the people be registered the way it is? So I won in all the polling stations, especially in my hometown. Like they were guarding those votes as if their lives depended on it. So I won in every polling station in my town. And then in other sub-counties, some places really just said, we need this woman. And they refused for any change of votes or anything. Rural areas, the votes were all bought and flipped. Like
Wow,
that.
it's very unfortunate that things like this happen in our electoral processes here, and we don't know when we'll get out of this. But thank you for that, Queen. And
There is hope, though. There is hope.
there is hope.
Because why I say there is hope is because 14,800 voted without being paid to go and vote.
Also, what was the margin between you and the person that won?
Oh, I think it was big. But you see, to me, that's not really big. Votes that are bought does not convert to success. So,
Sure.
and they were mostly flipped from my votes, which is okay. We have 2 members of parliament. Me, that one for the government. That's cool.
All right, Queen. Thank you for that. Priska, I hope you're still on. Priska, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. All right. So the parliamentary scorecard by AFLI reported that women are not participating sufficiently in parliamentary committees. Discussions on the floor also remain male dominated. As someone that covers parliament, why is this so? Also, it's surprising when we see women during the campaign trails, they are very vocal and they're speaking about issues. What happens when they get to parliament? All of a sudden they become cold. And what happened to that breed of strong vocal women that we have seen prior in Uganda's politics history? What happens?
Okay, Lisa. That is why from the first, from my initial remarks, I told you that when you look at all these number of women, over the 100 who are in parliament, there are few on the fingertips, there are about 5 that are vocal on issues of women. So that is why it's time as society we started looking into what does this woman stand for. It's not a mere fact of us celebrating. One of the things, like, usually on Mondays and Fridays are days when we are not so busy, and we as journalists we'd have a topic, so we go out called voice box, so we seek views of MPs. And I can tell you that most times when you ask a female MP to comment on something, they tell you, I don't want to comment. There have been discussions in about how media covers people, female sources, and we've been blamed several times of not quoting women, but as some but you sit in a committee and it is the male who are mostly doing what, who are participating. It goes back to the confidence. Don't be lied by the confidence that people exhibit on in the
Campaigns.
constituencies. It's different when you get to parliament, because and some of them are scared of being put to order or things like that by the male MPs. So the mere fact that just because you see someone being vocal in the constituency does not mean that they are going to reflect that vocalness on what in parliament. You even see, even the topics of the girl child that touch women, you find that the men who are mostly participating. Yes, we know they are the biggest number in parliament, but the women are yet to cement their positions in. Sometimes when you look at the other topics are hinged on the patriarchal setting, because when we are discussing things of teenage pregnancies, you can't imagine people like Cecilia Gual are blaming teenage pregnancies on issues like girls dressing badly, miniskirts.
Really?
So yes, I mean, you mean those are the people you think they are the epitome of feminism, but
Yeah.
I tell you, the patriarchal society has really crushed us. So that partly explains that the women have to do a lot with with the confidence issue. And the other problem is the people who are the affirmative action was brought in to cure this, but most of the women who the female MPs, once they get a seat, they want to keep it to themselves. They hardly want to to train the other people after them. Like for instance, in the 10th parliament, I think it was only Winnie Kiza that had trained that the the current Florence Kavugo, who later took over. So, but we've had instances whereby a person like the former speaker who has represented Kamodi from 1989 up to now, you see that. So
Krista,
they
can I say something connected to that?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
You see, to me, that's the problem. The problem is that girls are sitting waiting for somebody to train them. How about we take it? How about even if a child has even if a girl has gotten pregnant, that was an accident. Okay, wait, give birth, and go right back to where you stopped. Let's stop trying to blame other people for our weakness. Let's go and take it. Let's prove to the world we have the content. You see, those female members of parliament, they are not talking not because they are afraid. Yes, low self-esteem, but they lack content. They don't know what to say. They do not know even what to comment. They went to parliament. Some of them went by mistake because people chose them, right? The votes. But when it comes to exposure and content, they're not doing any research. They don't want to know what's going on in the world. They lack content. And then we don't want to keep blaming people for not giving us this, or the ladies have not been given this. No, we go out there. People say education is the key to success. No, education is no longer the key to success. The master key to success is the brain. Everybody should use their brain. If you stopped in senior 4, use your brain to do something that brings money into your hands. If you stopped in senior 2, the world is no longer looking for degree holders. Money. X is equal to money. Every unsolved answer is equal to money. Every question you have. So how do you get the money that you need to make things happen? We should learn to stop blaming other people. We should know our surroundings, have content, and take it. Thank you very much.
All right, Queen, before you go, talk about not blaming people, but how about we look at the structures in place? It disenables women. We're not having a pity party, but the surroundings make it hard. Even though you're a strong woman, it's not easy. And when you talk about affirmative action, this
Yes,
what is
Elizabeth?
Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
want to say something out of experience. In November, we held the first 100 days as the Network of Women in Politics, parliamentarians, and they were telling us about their experience. We're asking them, why aren't you out there speaking? And some of the reasons they gave are not reasons someone would think are really barriers. For example, some were saying, we are still balancing between home and parliament. Others were saying getting the attention of the speaker is also a problem. You have to first go to speaker's office, register what do you want to say on the floor of parliament. At times it will be rubbish. The other day they will tell you, okay, first go to someone's office. It needs a bit of fine tuning. So like someone is in parliament and they are putting up their hands for every session, but they are not given the opportunity. And before you know it, they are telling you, we have given up. We just have to come and sit, wait for our allowances and go. Yes, this is what they said. I even have a copy of exactly what they were telling us. Then
So why
I do not want to argue with that cross-generational. Can you give me time? Cross-generational mentorship is something.
It's a lie.
It's not a lie. This was from female MPs. We cannot say cross-generational mentorship is not something that is good. There are so many women that are MPs because of Kadaga. They watched Kadaga years back and they're like, I want to be like her. They've interacted with her in workshops, in sessions. Winnie Kiza. I'm personally inspired by Winnie Kiza. Whenever I saw her talking when she was the leader of opposition, I was like, wow, maybe one day I can also be that. When we are with her meeting, you're inspired. If you are not mentored as a woman, that's why you find that people go to parliament and they are not knowing anything because they've not passed through any leadership ladder, any leadership training. They are just self-made. Actually, I'm one of the people that advocate for a training for women parliamentarians or women councillors so that at least we start establishing cream out of cream. That is when we shall start hearing women talking about prices that are rising, the soap prices, the fuel prices, because they've been mentored, they've been coached to exactly debate issues that are gender sensitive and gender neutral. So I really think we should not disregard that issue of cross-generational mentorship because that's why we go to universities and talk to those women. That's why we go to secondary schools and encourage these women because these are the leaders of tomorrow. And these leaders copy from someone to become what they want to be or to become what they would like to be in future.
Lillian, let me keep you there. Uganda has had 4 female presidential candidates over the last elections.
Yes.
With Nancy Kalembe in the last election, and we saw the number of votes that she got. This is despite the fact that Uganda registered more female voters. What have these candidates failed to dislodge gender stereotypes? What's the issue? Why aren't women? I listened to Nancy's manifesto, and it was quite solid, and I believed her. But why aren't they connecting with the people? Why aren't the women voting for fellow women?
I think the greatest barrier is women fighting fellow women. Nancy is a member of the Network of Women in Politics. She opened up, But at every stage of her campaign, starting from the day she declared her candidature, it is fellow women that came up. Why is she late? Where has she been? Why isn't she doing ABCD? Why isn't she putting on blah, blah, blah? Why is she putting on dresses? Now, all sorts of things that are said about women, and women do not come up collectively. We have an issue where people think the paradox effect, actually, where people think maybe I should have been the one standing. Why is it Nancy coming up to stand? So those women start even feeling bad, start spreading the rumor. We had even put up a fund like to collect money for Nancy. As women, that did not mean that we belong to Nancy's political thinking or political party or something like that, but because we wanted to support a woman to come up and show that women can also lead the country. But what happened when Nancy failed to raise the nomination fees the first day? I attend to so many WhatsApp groups of women, and you see what the women were writing was really not so good. They were like, really, is it a woman saying this? Every day we are saying we want to see a female president in the country. So it starts from us. Women do not support fellow women. When they see a young woman coming up, they get inferior, they start imagining they are themselves. Then, of course, the patriarchy, where people feel, no, it's not yet the right time for Ugandans to have a female president. And the crucifixion, we would have more stronger women come up, but women fear opposition politics. You know the kind of country we are into now. Someone will offer themselves, before you know it, they are sleeping with someone, they've been caught in adultery, they are losing property. Nancy has lost property now, not because she was not able to pay, but because they are accumulated debts that come unknowingly, and you're becoming something else. Your picture is being portrayed as someone who is not prepared. Everyone was like, Nancy was not prepared. Why did she come? All those things. So
but was she prepared? Was she prepared?
Yeah, she was prepared. She was prepared enough.
Without nomination
Because
fees.
what you should know, Queen, canvassing this country to look for votes, the entire country, because there is no day she missed going into a district or an electoral area where she was supposed to be. That is the first phase of preparation. She had the content, as Lisa has said. Nancy, for me, if I was not voting anything else, I loved her manifesto. I loved the way she presented herself, and I loved her command. I know we are not going to get someone who is already there, but we need to build up someone, because there are parties that are even building up. Anyway, I don't want to go there.
No, but how many people did she reach? How many people did she reach with that sweet message?
It depends. You cannot say she felt to reach. You're one of the women criticizing a fellow woman.
No, for me, I don't support a woman just because I have to support a woman. With me, you have to have.
Now for you had the good message, but there are other factors that failed you. So I do not believe in putting other women down. I believe in encouraging them that maybe this was the first time. The next time when you come, you can do better. That is the language. That is the message we should preach. But when we continue hammering someone,
Lillian,
we are not prepared. Even if they want to come,
they should be prepared. If we want to compare to men,
I cannot continue and I will not stand. So you get a newcomer again. Who needs mentoring? Who needs all
I'm going
that?
to have to cut you both, Lillian and Queen. We are running out of time. I think it's getting heated here, but we're going to have
Lillian, Chris, and Lisa.
Yeah, but before we go, just briefly from all of you, what can be done? We have talked about all these biases and we know the problem, but what should we do to change
I think
this?
let me start. The first thing should be encouraging women to involve in local politics, so that the burden is not only at the top. So if we are having elections that are coming, the women council elections, let's encourage more women so that at least they handle some of those small problems that can be handled at village level, at parish level. I think that could be a solution. Still, I emphasize mentoring and providing tailor-made trainings. There is a time when we get trainings that are not so beneficial to women. They're telling you about the women's movement. Yes, you can pick a few, but there are trainings that women need that can empower them, like financial literacy trainings, how to manage finances in an election. I mean, those trainings empower women to come up and compete favorably. Lastly, we should encourage cross-party platforms like the Network of Women in Politics, where women come and find that, oh, I'm DP, I'm NUP, I'm NRM, but we all have common problems and we can find common solutions. We are not isolated and thinking, oh my God, I'm in this party, we are not given a platform. But when women come together, they find solutions together. That is why for us, we are always preaching the sisterhood model to move together as women and sometimes put apart our political parties for better gender equality.
Thank you, Leah.
Teresa.
Priska, you.
So
Mm.
from the perspective of the World Economic Forum, it's going to take us about 145 years to attain gender parity in politics. 145 years is what we have. Those, I don't know how many generations are. So when you ask about the solutions, I think first of all, society has to believe women that we are capable of leadership. It's not the mere fact that somebody has a penis that qualifies him to be a leader. It's not the sexual organs you have is not qualifies you to be a leader. And the other thing is you have to pay women. We have seen this the pay gap. If somebody was profiling the pay gap in the UK, and it's astronomical. You'll find there are companies that are paying men higher, about 70%. You see that? And it was about 2 companies that were paying men higher. This is in the UK that we think. And on top of hiring and paying women, we have to protect women, come up with legislations that protect women. When we talk of things like maternity leave, you cannot tell me that somebody who has lost a body organ like a placenta or has given birth is worth only 3 months of leave. Then you return back, and probably most of the. So we must look into such policies, because when you look at a scenario whereby somebody is decampaigning the other person because the other person is pregnant, and Parliament, at least I think, is the only institution in Uganda that provides for daycare for its staff. So we want to see daycare in all organizations and schools. So those are the things we must be intentional about the policies we want that are going to better lives of women as women who are holding power. It's not about, we have been right from childhood, we are trained to look after, cook and everything. But society has now changed. We have to begin with the kids we are giving birth to, our nieces and our cousins, that the world is changing. So we must be intentional about what the world is changing, the direction that the world is taking. Because for us to achieve the 145 years for political parity among women, we must change the way we have been doing things, and realize that nothing is normal about the way we are doing things, and we should not be comfortable about the trend that we are taking as society.
All right. Thank you so much, Priska, for that. And lastly, Queen, please give us your parting shot.
Okay. So forgive me before I say this. Women, if women want to compete with men, they have to be prepared to take over. But the business of blame game, oh, we have been, this, we have been that. We are not going to take over the world with excuses. We are going to take over the world with content. We are going to take over the world with being prepared to take over the world. And all of these biases, we can flip them just by letting the men know that we are now here and we are ready to take over. And then we go after what we want by being prepared, by having the knowledge of what we want to present out there, and being resilient, not giving up. If we say A and a man says B, we say it's A. We insist. If we don't do that, and at the end of the day, women want to really make a difference in politics, women have to build their own finances. Because depending on a man's finances is the only reason women can't make it. You want to make an independent decision, you can't even get out and do it because you're depending on the man's pocket. How about we have economic and financial independence first? I don't put down women, but I am saying if you want to compete and you are a woman, prove it. Because when the men go into politics, they know they have the resources, they have accumulated resources, and they have the message, and they're ready to go out there. If people say out there that, they're saying because I'm a woman, people were telling me all of those things, oh, you're not married. Oh, yeah, but you see, the husband is not the one going to that parliament. It's me that's going to the parliament. So even if I am married, my husband is not coming with me to the floor of parliament. It's me. So you either trust my brain or you don't trust me at all. We have to stick to the message. When we stick to the message, when we go there prepared, the people know who is prepared and who is not. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you, Queen, and thank you to all of you. It's been a very interesting discussion. I enjoyed every single bit of it, and I'm looking forward to us having this again. Thank you once again, and have a great week. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.